All right, well, they just talked about Libya and the uprising in Egypt, etc., and then they go on to talk about
dollars to Egypt, the fifth biggest amount to any nation that is now run by a former leader of the Muslim Brotherhood. Libya, not as much, but still 2.5 billion a year. Mr. Sadler, we'll begin with you. Should the U.S. cut off foreign aid to these nations?
No, we don't cut off foreign aid, particularly in that.
Okay, so we're going to go through this. I'm going to try to remember some of the things that they said later on, but the bottom line is in the end, neither one of them would cut off foreign aid. And Sadler won't cut it off to anybody under any circumstances, but Cruz was basically like, well, it's got to be the right people. And you know, I would imagine he would consider Mubarak or Karzai or any of these other crazy people that we put in, Saddam Hussein, any of these other crazy people that we used to give foreign aid to, or we still give foreign aid to, well, some of them, Karzai. And, you know, those are probably the people that he would consider doing it for, and that's what people don't understand. That's the whole problem, okay? We're giving billions of dollars to people that in those countries, the people in those countries consider these people to be ruthless dictators at best and complete puppets of the United States otherwise. And they don't respect the people, they don't like them, and these people don't respect them either. They're just our puppet dictators that we put into place, and we give them money so they will act like good dogs. That's what these guys do. That's what we do around the world, and then the people in those countries hate these people. Okay? And then they start to realize that it's America that's funding these people. Okay? And then those people get mad, and then we get Ted Cruz and Paul Sadler who go on TV shocked if America or American interest was ever attacked. Even though it's clear to the people in these countries that we're not acting in their interest. We don't go around the world spreading democracy. Now this topic, which is funny about this debate, this is all they touched. All that this debate touched was foreign aid. What would you do about foreign aid? Well, our total amount of spending that we spend on being the world's police and everything that includes comes out to be about $1.1 trillion a year. Almost a third of all the money taken from you in taxes goes to us being this world policeman, when we are 16 times the size of the next army. Paul Sadler goes on to say, when they were talking about, this is a funny thing, when they were talking about Russia or Afghanistan, Paul Sadler goes on to say, well, if you open it up, you leave a vacuum there for a country like Russia to step in. Oh yeah, now, ladies and gentlemen, do you remember the last time that Russia stepped into Afghanistan? Let me see. How'd that work out for them? Oh yeah, it destroyed their country completely. You know what Afghanistan should be known for? Afghanistan should be known as the country where empires go to die. Because throughout history, that is what's happened every time anybody has ever invaded Afghanistan. And it's just so funny, Paul Sadler, state rep from Texas, is going to tell us this great thing about, oh well, yeah, we'd have a vacuum there where someone would step in. My God, every time we step in here, we don't create democracy, we're not doing anything else. And if it's all of your interest is just control of people, don't be shocked when those people try to attack you back. And that's what we do around the world. We don't need to be in these countries. Cato did a report that if we wanted oil for just, you know, to be regularly priced, you just get out. Let them sell their own oil instead of putting in these companies. And that's really what all of this has to do with. It has to do with oil and the control of the petrodollar. So it's not just oil, but it's the idea of what currency oil is traded in. And we've gone around the world, and anybody that tries to get off the petrodollar gets taken out. That was Saddam Hussein, that was Gaddafi in Libya. That's the kind of thing that we do. So, you know, it's funny that the only thing they really talked about in foreign policy was this, and it's also horrible at the same time. But neither one of these guys wants to cut a dollar. We're the strongest military in the world, no one can touch us. We need to just bring our troops home and let some of our allies do what they need to do in their regions around the world. Let the people in those continents, at least, even stand a chance of taking care of their own people, instead of breeding the type of hate that we do around the world and driving this country into bankruptcy, which is what we're going to do, which is what Russia found out when they were in Afghanistan, Mr. Sadler.